Hey there, Abiding fam, welcome back to my channel. I am so excited to be at last here with another flip through of my Abiding journal. For those of you who don't know, I took it upon myself to create my own little challenge in which I am trying to journal every single day in 2018. Now what that is looking like now is there being an entry for every single day of 2018, but not necessarily me actually journaling every single day of 2018. As it turns out, it is very, very hard for me to find time every single day to sit down with my journal to be able to create the types of spreads that I want to, especially with Ben and I only being able to see each other limited on the weekends. It's really hard for me to journal on the weekends. My dog is sighing in the background. It's very difficult for me to journal on the weekends when we're just trying to have that time together and getting the most out of it. So what that means is I am not journaling every single day, but I often have one day where I'll catch up on the previous days, so I might do 5 entries within one day. The way that I keep track of all of the days so that I don't forget what happened is I have a separate journal that I write down what I'm going to journal in my actual journal, which I know sounds very convoluted and silly, but it's a system that works for me. So what I do is every day I just jot down really tiny little notes. So this, for example, is one day of just a few little notes to remind me what happened, and then I also typically have photos to help me jog my memory as well. So I use this and then the photos to recreate what happened that day, and then using this I can go into my actual journal and put in the creative touches to make an entry. So with that being said, today's video is actually a flip through of my March spreads because I have fallen quite behind in actually sharing my spreads with you guys. I'm currently in the midst of doing July entries and I haven't even shared March with you yet, so I figured it was about time that we get into my journal together and do a nice little flip through. We'll move my chai latte to the side so you guys can see a little better and then jump right into these entries. So the first one here is just a quote by Charles Dickens. It says, "It is one of those March days when the sun shines hot and the wind blows cold, when it is summer in the light and winter in the shade." And I just did some lettering for that. This is a super simple page, probably as simple as I get. But the reason for that is nothing really happened on this day, and so when there are days where it's just so ordinary of a day and I really can't even bother to remember what happened because nothing really did, that's when I'll usually just do a quote or something related to that season, just something to occupy that space. But I will say it's pretty rare that I don't have at least something I want to say. Usually at the very least I want to talk about a meal I ate during the day. Speaking of, this next entry was basically devoted to this delicious white chocolate mousse with berries in a chocolate cup that we had, so I hand lettered that on the side and then did some watercolor berries. This entry uses some really fun paper, so I have this like marble paper in the background because I thought it kind of evoked that clean vibe of the marble, sort of like a clean kitchen or bathroom. And then I have this little journaling card from Flow magazine that I put a printout of a nice email that I received from someone. And then you can see here I doodled a little mop and a bucket, the sticker spring cleaning, and then also used my favorite washi tape that I got from wish.com. This next entry I talked a little bit about how we weren't able to watch the Oscars despite my trying very hard to find it for Ben to watch in my apartment. I did not have cable and we couldn't watch it online. So shame on you, Oscars, for not making that more readily available. But I used this really cool sticker of a camera reel or a film reel and just pointed with this arrow to the day of the month. So I thought that was a really neat way to indicate the day. And then over here it was my brother's 21st birthday, so I just kind of commemorated that on this page. This next one was the day that I received all of my Arteza products to review for you guys, and I do have that video linked. I'll put it up in the cards above for you, but you can see I was just experimenting with the Arteza Real brush pens and discovering that I love them. They're so much fun to use, as you can see in that journal with me video that I use them for. They're really great supplies, so I do highly recommend those. And then over here for March 7th, I really love this page and just keeping all of the same color palette. And what I did is I drew this little ruler on the side using my favorite number stencil that you've heard me talk about a million times if you're already familiar with my channel. And if you're not already familiar, be sure to subscribe, watch some more videos, catch up, and you will quickly realize that my numbers stencil is one of my favorite things I own. So what I did is I put a little piece of vellum that I did some journaling on, and then with the ruler it says actual snowfall is about 0, and then the weatherman prediction is way up here at the top of the ruler. As usual, the weatherman got it wrong. This spread here is very different from my typical spread. The color palette, just everything about this is so not my usual aesthetic, but I was really trying to play off of this solidarity sticker that we got on campus for International Women's Day. So I used that color to just really tie in with the other elements that I brought into the page. Did a little bit of journaling, the tiniest little bit, because the photo and Happy International Women's Day with this sticker kind of tells me the story without even needing the journaling. So it's just a tiny little bit. So that entry actually wrapped up my first entire insert. So my first My Abiding Journal insert was completed with that entry. So I continue March over in this one. I do want to say that if you like these spreads and want to see still photos of them, you should definitely go and check out my Instagram. I do take still photos of all of my entries. I am very behind in actually updating Instagram with these, but don't worry, they are coming, I promise you. And it's also a way that you can share your journal entries with me by using the hashtag MyAbidingJournal. So I'd love to see what you're creating, and that way I can even feature you guys in my stories. So be sure to use my hashtag and tag me. This next entry was all about the movie Leap, which is about a ballerina, and we were watching it with my niece, who is 3, but I think all of the grown-ups enjoyed the movie far more than she did. It was just a really cute little story. So I used this watching sticker that says Leap, did some journaling, and then I brought in the fabric again, as I used in a past journal with me that will be coming up, to indicate the date, once again using an arrow to point to the day of the month. And then I just love this journaling card so much that I received in Happy Mail with this cute little ballerina. It was absolutely perfect for this entry. This next one is one of my all-time favorites. I just love this more antique vintage look, and the way I did this was using a distress stain in the background, walnut ink from Tusicanek. No way I'm saying that properly. Anyways, it's a walnut ink that's called an antiquing solution. So I used that on the background and I love the way it turned out. And then I also did this little watercolor and cut it out and stuck it on here using my Arteza brush pens. Threw in some stickers, of course. This is a washi tape that I just ripped up and put in different places. And then I also brought in some elements from that washi that I got from wish.com as well. So this is the washi tape that I've used in quite a few of these entries because at this time I had just gotten it and I was mildly obsessed. But there is a reason. It is so awesome. It's really wide, as you can see. It's about the size of my palm. And what I love about this is, yes, you could put it on just flat as a whole strip of washi, but I really enjoy just cutting out the little elements of this washi tape. And so that is what I did to get this leaf here, these little berries, the leaf over here, was just cutting out elements from this washi tape. This one is another one that I really loved creating. So I have this really precious little journaling card in the corner here from Flow magazine. This one was from the Flow book for paper lovers, and then I also have this little piece from a journaling card that I cut out that says just stay home. I have a photo of Jeannie in which I used my app pic collage to write nap time over that image. And then this cute little envelope that I made using the paper from the Flow book for paper lovers as well. And so then there's that little journaling card with some journaling on it, just recapping what happened that day. Over here I used that washi tape again, but used just a whole strip of it down the side, and then wrote The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel and used a cutout about a TV series obsession with this cute little laptop screen from my Flow calendar. Believe it or not, this video is not sponsored by Flow magazine, but I did just happen to have quite a few products from them that I was really enjoying using. And so this little desk calendar has so many cute little things about just things to be happy about, like this one, thinking of the prettiest place you know, a blank diary. So just fun little things, and sometimes they really apply well to my journal entries, so I like to cut them out and stick them in here. This day I do have an entire journal with me for, and it's actually one of my most popular journal with me's, so I do highly recommend you check that out. And I just use fabric in it, and I talk about the whole entry in that video, so check that out. I'll have it linked. This one is another good example of what I do when I don't really have much to say about that day. So I just did this "You Are Just My Cup of Tea" with this really pretty fine tech gold. Just love that so much. I love this page. I use this really fun vintage elements that I got from a little die cut set, and then did the hand lettering for Hatfields and McCoys with some gold foil accents because Ben and I had watched that all this weekend. This page I did for my patrons, so if you are interested in extra content like more journal with me's and other videos, as well as some printables, you should definitely go ahead and check out my Patreon. It's a great way to support my channel and all of the free content I put out here, and to get some extra stuff for yourself as well. So I did this entry for them, and I have this really neat little translucent parchment piece with my journaling over top of it, and then all of the photos from that day are over on this side. This entry I also did for my patrons, and this was a really fun one to create. Lots of fun little details to this one, such as the gold foil accents, the washi tape, and then also this shaker card that I had made before. And I do have an entire video that shows you how to make shaker cards if you're interested in learning how to do that for yourself. This is a great entry about my dog Jeannie, Carrie Jeannie, who is currently sleeping behind me. So I just have mostly just photos of her. I doodled a little few paw prints, did my journaling, wrote love, and then just had a journaling card. So super easy entry on this side. And then over here I talked about getting lunch at Gypsy Kitchen with my mom, and it was just such a beautiful snowy day in which we sat inside and looked through this gorgeous stained glass window that they have. It was just so scenic and picturesque, so I just tried to capture that here on this entry. And then I really liked the little texture that these craft paper pieces bring in as well. This is a really fun entry that I also have here on my YouTube channel, so I highly recommend you check that out to learn more about how this page was created. You can find that in the description box below. This one was super simple page, and just put this little element that I got from a speaker on campus that day, and did some journaling, put a few photos, and that was that. Over here is my birthday spread, March 23rd. So I wrote, "Today I am 24 years old," did my journaling, and then I used one of my printable pieces from my Patreon. So that was one of the pieces my patrons got in March. And then also put in these little cupcakes that were actually from the card that I received from my mom, so I just cut them out and stuck them on here. For my birthday, we actually went away scrapbooking, if you guys recall way back when I was talking about that here on my YouTube channel. So I did some cute little hand lettering about going to the scrapbooking store, Farmhouse Memories, And then because we were in Amish country at that point, I did this cute little buggy doodle as well. Over on this side, talking about this movie Wind River that we watched that day. Super sad but powerful movie. Over here I talk all about delicious empanadas that my friends and I went to get together, so that was super fun. And then I have the journaling card in which I talk about that, and then this is a sticker from Flora's, which is the restaurant that serves the empanadas. And I used a tip-in for this page as well, which is super fun and a great way to make more space when you're running out of room. This side is one of my favorite entries, and part of that is how simple it is, which is silly because you would think if that's one of my favorites, I would make more pages more simple. But I don't. I continue to make them much more complicated than they need to be. So that's something I'm trying to work on for sure. But here I just did the date and the day of the week, hand lettered at the top, did my journaling, and then I love this Lancaster Central Market sticker because of course this entry is all about going to Central Market. And I did this really fun doodle along the side to create a wreath around the Central Market sticker, and I actually used this pattern, this style, from a bag that I have from Central Market, so it was really playing off of the entire market theme. This one is super simple, just stickers, washi, and a journaling card with a little bit of journaling on it. This entry I actually created on Instagram Live with help from you guys, and that was so much fun, and I need to do it again. I know I've been slacking on that end, and I would love to do that again with you guys, so hopefully I can make that happen in the nearish future. But essentially I just printed out this full 4x6 photo with 8 different photos on it, and then to highlight 2 of the photos that were my favorite, I put this little frame around it that says smile, and then under here we have a little tag with my journaling for the day on the back, and I just taped that down so that there is a little pocket there. And then of course I wrote Thursday atop of that, and the way that I got this to actually stay on without rubbing off is I used my Sakura Micro Perm pen. This is great for writing on top of slick surfaces like acetate or like your photos. That's what I use for those sorts of occasions. That's my dog in the background. And then over here, I just did the little weather report, which is a stamp. So I love the way that this page turned out. And you can see in the background, I also have a watercolor effect, and that was using just Tombows and a Ziploc bag and creating that kind of plopping effect. So I love this entry, and you guys really played a pivotal role in my creating that page with your suggestions along the way of what to do. So that was a really fun activity to do together. All right, our last 2 spreads. So of course this was Easter time, so I have Good Friday here. Pretty self-explanatory. I have some stickers and journaling cards, some hand lettering, and date stamp. So that turned out really well. And then this entry is actually one that is half created already in a journal with me, because this started out as the entry for Allie Brown's Honey Slim Pickins challenge, if you're familiar with that. If you're not familiar, you can go ahead and check out my video doing the challenge, in which basically Ben selected 5 items for me to use from my stash, and I could only use those 5 items to create this page. So I stuck that in here because this day was going to be devoted to fishing. So of course this entry ended up being more than the 5 that I was limited to, but it was still a really fun process, and it was neat being able to have a page already created that I could then work from and create this entry. So that, guys, is all of those spreads for March. I'm going to definitely be getting the other months to you in the very near future, so stay tuned for that. If you liked this video and getting to see all of my journaling spreads, please make sure to give it a thumbs up. It really helps YouTube to know that you guys are enjoying the content I'm producing, so thank you for that. And of course, be sure to subscribe as well to my channel if you enjoy journaling and living your own abiding life. That way we can abide in creativity, joy, love, and friendship together. So be sure to join our abiding fam. And of course, if you're interested in more journal with me's like the ones I mentioned from this month, but also of course there are much more from other months as well. So there's already, I think, 10 exclusive videos over on my Patreon. So if you're interested in that, as well as printables and Happy Mail and other fun content that you can get exclusive just for you, be sure to check that out at the link down below. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you have a fantastic day, and please let me know in the comments what was your favorite entry that you saw here, and be sure to tag me over on Instagram so I can see what you are creating too. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.